Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a bright and sunshiny day. Hey, yes, I know I'm late. It's just then for a while I couldn't find my glasses. It was outside, out in the dining room. I'm like, I did not put it there. Me and Kristen was moving everything in my room. I says, oh, here they are. She goes, really? Excuse me. It's one of those days. So we tasted that chocolate sausage. Whoa, I got you, Kiara. My iPad's name is Kiara. So Kiara, I got you. Just like that song, I got you, babe. All right, let's get to. You say your prayers. I'm gonna mute this because I did not say them yet because I've been just delayed. So this is the time where you'll say your prayers. Okay. So I've been public praying, and that's not right, and it's in the Bible. So I think I'll read it right now. How's that? I'll read it for you right now. So that is Matthew chapter 6, 5 and 6. So let's start off with an example that. Also, when you pray, do not act like the hypocrites, for they will like to pray standing in the synagogue and on street corners of the main street to be seen by men, meaning they bring attention to themselves. You want to bring attention to Jehovah, not yourselves. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. I don't know what that means by that, though. But when you pray, go into your private room, and after shutting your door, pray your Father who is in secret. Then your Father who looks on in secret will repay you. I didn't see all that. So maybe there you go. I got pumpkin spice creamer. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see all that. So I haven't been reading the whole passage. All right, so now let's go to back to home. Jehovah's angels protected Hezekiah. Mm.
Lesson 55. Jehovah's angel protected Hezekiah. The Assyrian Empire had taken over the 10-tribe kingdom of Israel. Now Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, wanted to take over the 2-tribe kingdom of Judah. He began taking the cities of Judah one by one. But the city he wanted most was Jerusalem. What Sennacherib did not know was that Jehovah was protecting Jerusalem. Hezekiah, the king of Judah, paid Sennacherib a lot of money to leave Jerusalem alone. Although Sennacherib took the money, he still sent his powerful army to attack Jerusalem. The people in the city were scared because the Assyrians were getting closer and closer. Then Hezekiah told them, "Don't be afraid. The Assyrians are strong, but Jehovah will make us even stronger than they are." Sennacherib sent his messenger, the Rabshakeh, to Jerusalem to make fun of the people. The Rabshakeh stood outside the city and shouted, "Jehovah cannot help you. Don't let Hezekiah trick you. There is no God that can protect you from us."
That's what they think.
Hezekiah asked Jehovah what he should do. Jehovah answered, "Don't be scared by what the Rabshakeh says. Sennacherib will not take Jerusalem. Next, Hezekiah received some letters from Sennacherib. The letter said, "Just give up. Jehovah can't save you." Hezekiah prayed, "Please, Jehovah, save us, so that everyone will know that you are the only true God." Jehovah told him, "The king of Assyria will not come into Jerusalem. I will protect my city." Sennacherib felt sure that Jerusalem would soon be his. But one night, Jehovah sent an angel to where the soldiers were camped outside the city. The angel killed 185,000 soldiers. King Sennacherib lost his mightiest soldiers. He had no choice but to go home defeated.
Oh.
Jehovah protected Hezekiah and Jerusalem just as he had promised. If you had been there in Jerusalem, would you have trusted in Jehovah? The angel of Jehovah camps all around those fearing him, and he rescues them. Psalm 34:7.
Yes. I read that, just, was it? Or maybe it's another one. So it says, how did Jehovah protect Jerusalem? And do you think that Jehovah will protect? And I'm going to answer that second one now. Yes, Jehovah will protect me. Why? Because I believe in him. And I have faith in him. So what, and the next question is, how did Jehovah protect Jerusalem? Hold on, I'll find it. I think, well, Jehovah sent an angel to where the soldiers were camped outside the city. The angel killed 185,000 soldiers. King Sennacherib lost his mightiest soldiers. He had no choice but to go home defeated. So Jehovah protected Hezekiah and Jerusalem just like he promised. Okay? Now, I remember one time we did a lesson from the Bible. Lessons you can learn from the Bible. I actually ended it there. I didn't read the passages. I had to do another video and add it on to everything. You guys didn't know. But 2 Kings chapter 17, 1 through 6 reads, in the 12th year of King Ahaz of Judah, Hoshea, the son of Elah, became king over Israel in Samaria. He ruled for 9 years. He continued to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, only not to the extent of the kings of Israel prior to him. King Shalmaneser, or of Assyria, came up against him, and Hoshea became his servant and began to pay tribute to him. However, the king of Assyria learned that Hoshea was involved in a conspiracy for he had sent messages to King So of Egypt and did not bring the tribute up to the king of Assyria as in former years. Therefore, the king of Assyria kept him confined and bound in prison. The king of Assyria invaded the entire land, and he came to Samaria and laid siege to it for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria. He then led the people of Israel into exile in Assyria and made them dwell in Halah and in Habar, at the river Goshen, and in the city of the Medes. That's not bad. That's not bad reading. Also Second Kings, but chapter 18, verses 13 through 37. I'll have the little man inside read it. He's been lazy lately. No, I'm kidding.
In the 14th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib the king of Assyria came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. So King Hezekiah of Judah sent word to the king of Assyria at Lachish,
I am at fault. Withdraw from against me, and I will give whatever you may impose on me.
The king of Assyria imposed on King Hezekiah of Judah a fine of 300 silver talents and 30 gold talents. So Hezekiah gave all the silver that could be found at the house of Jehovah and in the treasuries of the king's house. At that time Hezekiah removed the doors of the temple of Jehovah and the doorposts that King Hezekiah of Judah himself had overlaid, and he gave them to the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria then sent the Tartan, the Rabsaris, and the Rabshakeh with a vast army from Lachish to King Hezekiah in Jerusalem. They went up to Jerusalem and took up a position by the conduit of the upper pool, which is at the highway of the laundryman's field. When they called for the king to come out, Eliakim son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the household, Shebna the secretary, and Joah son of Asaph the recorder came out to them. So the Rabshakeh said to them,
Please, say to Hezekiah, this is what the great king, the king of Assyria, says. What is the basis for your confidence? You are saying, I have a strategy and the power to wage war. But these are empty words. In whom have you put your trust so that you dare to rebel against me? Look, you trust in the support of this crushed reed Egypt, which, if a man should lean on it, would enter into his palm and pierce it. That is the way Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is to all those who trust in him. And if you should say to me, we trust in Jehovah our God, is he not the one whose high places and altars Hezekiah has removed? While he says to Judah and Jerusalem, you should bow down before this altar in Jerusalem. So now, make this wager, please, with my lord, the king of Assyria. I will give you 2,000 horses if you are able to find enough riders for them. How then could you drive back even one governor who is the least of my lord's servants, while you put your trust in Egypt for chariots and for horsemen? Now is it without authorization from Jehovah that I have come up against this place to destroy it? Jehovah himself said to me, go up against this land and destroy it.
At this, Eliakim son of Hilkiah and Shebna and Joah said to the Rabshakeh,
Speak to your servants, please, in the Aramaic language, for we can understand it. Do not speak to us in the language of the Jews, in the hearing of the people on the wall.
But the Rabshakeh said to them,
Is it just to your lord and to you that my lord sent me to speak these words? Is it not also to the men who sit on the wall, those who will eat their own excrement and drink their own urine along with you?
Then the Rabshakeh stood and called out loudly in the language of the Jews, saying,
Hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria. This is what the king says. Do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he is not able to rescue you out of my hand. And do not let Hezekiah cause you to trust in Jehovah by saying, Jehovah will surely rescue us, and this city will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for this is what the king of Assyria says. Make peace with me and surrender, and each of you will eat from his own vine and from his own fig tree, and will drink the water of his own cistern, until I come and take you to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of olive trees and honey. Then you will live and not die. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for he misleads you by saying, Jehovah will rescue us. Have any of the gods of the nations rescued their land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim, Hena, and Iva? Have they rescued Samaria out of my hand? Who among all the gods of the lands have rescued their land out of my hand, so that Jehovah should rescue Jerusalem out of my hand?
But the people kept silent and did not say a word to him in reply. For the order of the king was, you must not answer him. But Eliakim son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the household, Shebna the secretary, and Joah son of Asaph the recorder, came to Hezekiah with their garments ripped apart, and told him the words of the Rapshakeh.
Rapshakeh. Okay, that's how you say that. All right, next is chapter 19, 1 through 37. I love this. Well, that's a lot to read, but that's okay. That's okay. That's how we learn. We got to read it all. But during the week, we don't read all of it. So,
Chapter 19. As soon as King Hezekiah heard this, he ripped his garments apart and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of Jehovah. Then he sent Eliakim, who was in charge of the household, Shebna the secretary, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amoz. They said to him,
This is what Hezekiah says. This day is a day of distress, of rebuke, and of disgrace. For the children are ready to be born, but there is no strength to give birth. Perhaps Jehovah your God will hear all the words of the Rapshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his lord, sent to taunt the living God, and he will call him to account for the words that Jehovah your God has heard. So offer up a prayer in behalf of the remnant who have survived.
So the servants of King Hezekiah went in to Isaiah, and Isaiah said to them,
This is what you should say to your Lord. This is what Jehovah says. Do not be afraid because of the words that you heard, the words with which the attendants of the king of Assyria blasphemed me. Here I am putting a thought in his mind, and he will hear a report and return to his own land, and I will make him fall by the sword in his own land.
After the Rabshakeh heard that the king of Assyria had pulled away from Lachish, he returned to him and found him fighting against Libnah. Now the king heard it said about King Tirhakah of Ethiopia.
Here he has come out to fight against you.
So he sent messengers again to Hezekiah, saying,
This is what you should say to King Hezekiah of Judah. Do not let your God in whom you trust deceive you by saying, Jerusalem will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Look, you have heard what the kings of Assyria did to all the lands by devoting them to destruction. Will you alone be rescued?
I'm pausing this. You know what we could have done from 18? Just continue on to number 19. Do you know that? Oh, well.
Gods of the nations that my forefathers destroyed rescued them? Where are Gozan, Haran, Rezeph, and the people of Eden who are in Telassar? Where is the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad, and the king of the cities of Sepharvaim and of Hena and of Iva?
Hezekiah took the letters out of the hand of the messengers and read them. Hezekiah then went up to the house of Jehovah and spread them out before Jehovah. And Hezekiah began to pray before Jehovah and say,
O Jehovah, the God of Israel, sitting enthroned above the cherubs, you alone are the true God of all the kingdoms of the earth. You made the heavens and the earth. Incline your ear, O Jehovah, and hear. Open your eyes, O Jehovah, and see. Hear the words that Sennacherib has sent to taunt the living God. It is a fact, O Jehovah, that the kings of Assyria have devastated the nations and their lands, and they have thrown their gods into the fire, because they were not gods, but the work of human hands, wood and stone. That is why they could destroy them. But now, O Jehovah our God, please save us out of his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are God, O Jehovah.
Isaiah, son of Amoz, then sent this message to Hezekiah.
Oh, wow.
This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. I have heard your prayer to me concerning King Sennacherib of Assyria. This is the word that Jehovah has spoken against him. The virgin daughter of Zion despised.
Hello to whoever. Oh, they left. I was saying hi to whoever was here. Well, anyway, hi. Thank you for coming. Because they still could be here. Because YouTube sometimes it goes to 0. I could have 15 people in the live. I don't know.
You. Scoffs at you. The daughter of Jerusalem shakes her head at you. Whom have you taunted and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your arrogant eyes? It is against the Holy One of Israel. Through your messengers, you have taunted Jehovah and said, with the multitude of my war chariots, I will ascend the heights of mountains, the remotest parts of Lebanon. I will cut down its lofty cedars, its choice juniper trees. I will enter its farthest retreats, its densest forests. I will dig wells and drink foreign waters. I will dry up all the streams of Egypt with the soles of my feet. Have you not heard? From long ago it was determined. From days gone by I have prepared it. Now I will bring it about. You will turn fortified cities into desolate piles of ruins. Their inhabitants will be helpless. They will be terrified and put to shame. They will become as vegetation of the field and green grass, as grass of the roofs that is scorched by the east wind. But I well know when you sit, when you go out, when you come in, and when you are enraged against me, because your rage against me and your roaring have reached my ears. So I will put my hook in your nose and my bridle between your lips, and I will lead you back the way you came. And this will be the sign for you. This year you will eat what grows on its own. And in the second year, you will eat grain that sprouts from that. But in the third year, you will sow seed and reap, and you will plant vineyards and eat their fruitage. Those of the house of Judah who escape, those who are left, will take root downward and produce fruit upward. For a remnant will go out of Jerusalem, and survivors from Mount Zion. The zeal of Jehovah of armies will do this. Therefore, this is what Jehovah says about the king of Assyria. He will not come into this city, or shoot an arrow there, or confront it with a shield, or cast up a siege rampart against it. By the way he came, he will return. He will not come into this city, declares Jehovah. I will defend this city and save it for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David.
On that very night, the angel of Jehovah went out and struck down 185,000 men in the camp of the Assyrians. When people rose up early in the morning, they saw all the dead bodies. So King Sennacherib of Assyria departed and returned to Nineveh and stayed there. And as he was bowing down at the house of his god Nisroch, his own sons Adramelech and Sharezer struck him down with the sword, and then escaped to the land of Ararat.
Oof.
And his son Esarhaddon became king in his place.
Okay. So there's one more thing to listen to. That's 2 Chronicles chapter 32, 1 through 23. We'll let the man inside do that. 1 to 30. 23. Go ahead. Play.
Chapter 32. After these things and these acts of faithfulness, King Sennacherib of Assyria came and invaded Judah. He besieged the fortified cities, intent on breaking through and capturing them. When Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib had come and intended to wage war against Jerusalem, he decided, after consulting with his princes and his warriors, to stop up the waters of the springs outside the city, and they gave him their support. Many people were gathered together, and they stopped up all the springs and the stream that flowed through the land, saying,
"Why should the kings of Assyria come and find plenty of water?"
Furthermore, with determination, he rebuilt the entire broken-down wall and raised towers on it, and outside he made another wall. He also repaired the mound of the city of David, and he made a large number of weapons and shields. He then appointed military chiefs over the people and assembled them at the public square of the city gate and encouraged them, saying,
Be courageous and strong. Do not be afraid or be terrified because of the king of Assyria and all the multitude with him. For there are more with us than there are with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is Jehovah our God to help us and to fight our battles.
And the people were strengthened by the words of King Hezekiah of Judah. After this, while King Sennacherib of Assyria was at Lachish with all his imperial might, he sent his servants to Jerusalem, to King Hezekiah of Judah and to all the Judeans in Jerusalem, saying,
This is what King Sennacherib of Assyria says. In what are you trusting that you remain in Jerusalem while it is besieged? Is not Hezekiah misleading you and handing you over to die by famine and thirst, saying, Jehovah our God will rescue us from the hand of the king of Assyria? Is this not the same Hezekiah who removed your God's high places and his altars, and then said to Judah and Jerusalem, You should bow down before one altar, and on it you should make your sacrifices smoke? Do you not know what I and my forefathers did to all the peoples of the lands? Were the gods of the nations of the lands able to rescue their land from my hand? Who among all the gods of these nations that my forefathers devoted to destruction was able to rescue his people from my hand, so that your God should be able to rescue you from my hand? Now do not let Hezekiah deceive you or mislead you like this. Do not put faith in him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to rescue his people from my hand and from the hand of my forefathers. How much less then will your own God rescue you from my hand?
His servants said even more against Jehovah the true God, and against Hezekiah his servant. He also wrote letters to insult Jehovah the God of Israel, and to speak against him, saying,
Like the gods of the nations of the lands who could not rescue their people from my hand, so the God of Hezekiah will not rescue his people from my hand.
They kept calling loudly in the language of the Jews to the people of Jerusalem who were on the wall, to make them afraid and to terrify them, in order to capture the city. They spoke against the God of Jerusalem the same way as against the gods of the peoples of the earth, which are the work of man's hands. But King Hezekiah and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz kept praying about this, and crying out to the heavens for help.
Only a few more.
Then Jehovah sent an angel and wiped out every mighty warrior, leader, and chief in the camp of the king of Assyria, so that he went back to his own land in disgrace.
Yeah.
He later entered the house of his God, and there some of his own sons struck him down with the sword.
Oh,
So
that's how
Jehovah
bad he was.
saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of King Sennacherib of Assyria, and from the hand of all others.
and gave them rest on every side. And many brought gifts to Jehovah at Jerusalem, and choice things to King Hezekiah of Judah. And he was greatly respected by all the nations after that.
And I believe that's it. Yeah, that is it. I will be live soon. Today's a late day. Late start, I should say. But I definitely will be live. Probably a little past 10. But we'll see. Love. Don't judge. Until next time, my jelly beans. Peace out.